You know, I've actually had a lot of you over the years say to me that since a lot of these like really big price increases, that you think these brands are trying to weed out and price out the middle and lower classes from being able to afford their things. And I would actually agree with you. I think that's possibly got something to do with exclusivity and them trying to claw back exclusivity. But it also makes me think, are they actually making a mockery of the wealthy? Hi everyone, welcome to another video. So let's talk about, I do talk about price rises a lot because there's something that really fascinates me, but also I'm really fascinated by the economy and by luxury in general. So this topic to me is something that just gets me going every time. And I wanted to talk to you about whether these price rises are actually starting to backfire on the brands. And I've got some data here that just kind of backs up some of the thoughts that I'm going to put to you. I'm going to put to you just some thinking behind this, but as I say, also some data so that it's not just me sat here talking about my opinion. There is actually some like level of fact behind it. But price rises. Okay, so as probably all of you know, price rises are no big surprise. They happen maybe 3 times a year it depends on the brand. Some brands kind of go twice a year, others go 3 times, some go even more than that. But the percentage by which price rises used to go up by pre-pandemic, although it was a lot, it's not, I feel, what we're seeing today. And I don't quite understand what happened in the pandemic to make, well, I kind of do. The pandemic hit. Price rises went up with a lot of these brands, but particularly with Chanel, there was a lot of like controversy about their price rise because all in all, in 2020, they had price rises collectively across all of their products. Like some bags had a higher price increase than others, but collectively it was around about 30%, which is like massive. And all the brands did it by different percentages. And I think that there was an element of trying to claw back money that was lost from the pandemic, certainly in that first year. But then I think as everyone started going back to work again and life started to get back to normal again, a lot of us believed or thought that whilst the price increases would continue, that they wouldn't go up by the huge numbers that we've been seeing. But we have all been mind blown because not only have the price rises continued, which you would expect, but they have continued to go up by these really big, actually absurd percentages, if you ask me. And it made me wonder whether the pandemic changed the viewpoint of a lot of these brands and made these brands think about exclusivity. Maybe they felt that too many people were wearing their products. Certainly I think social media makes it feel like everyone's got a Chanel bag when actually everyone doesn't have a Chanel bag, but maybe social media also had something to do with it. That kind of social media is very good at taking the veil down, the mystery down behind the brand. You know, people go into stores and they film them, and it gives you a sense of what that store experience is like without you even having to do it. So then when you choose to go into a store and buy your first bag, you feel like you've almost done it before because you've watched somebody else do it. And it's taking down that mystery, that veil, that exclusivity that used to exist years ago before social media, which maybe doesn't exist so much now. So back in 2023, Q4, I've got a friend who works for a really big fashion house at like a corporate level. And this friend told me, in regards to one brand in particular, he couldn't talk about multiple brands, he was talking about one brand, and I'm not going to say the name of the brand because I don't want to get this person in trouble, but he has said that based on what I'm about to tell you and me having to be slightly vague about this, he said it's fine for me to say. But he actually said that in 2023 in particular, the brand that he works for saw a huge downturn in sales. And he said that what they're noticing is that it's the Middle East that are propping up sales, less so China now. And China used to be like a really big market. It still very much is, but it's not pulling in the money that it used to. And he said that European and US is just down. I found this really, really interesting when he told me it. And he did say that price rises may very well have been the reason for this. And I think they probably are the reason. And that's why it makes me think, are these price rises starting to backfire? Or actually, are these price rises doing exactly what these brands wanted them to do? So one stat that I found, which I thought was quite interesting, is from a data company called Edited, and they have said that average prices are up 25% since 2019. That is actually above inflation. Even all of those years, that is above inflation. Their logic behind this, why they have said that the brands are doing this, is to balance out regional price disparities, and it's also to make up for the fallout from the pandemic. Do we believe that? Do we think that that's true? Do price disparities on leathers, for example, or on the component parts that go to make these items, have they gone up that much? I've said before, there is no way that a classic flap cost Chanel £10,000 to make. No way. So I almost disagree that the price rises are wholly down to the cost of materials and labour, because I just don't believe that those bags cost anywhere near that amount of money to make. And you know, Tanner Levenstein, like a lot of you have watched him, he talks about the same thing. You know, he takes apart bags and wallets and shoes, leather goods, and he kind of tells you in his professional opinion how much they would have actually cost to make. And these things cost a fraction of the price that they actually are in store. The data company Edited went on to say that aspirational customers who buy entry-level goods like cosmetics have curbed their spending. And actually there is a saying, I went to a conference years ago to do with luxury, and they were saying that for a lot of people, the entry point to luxury is buying that perfume, is buying that lipstick. They are the entry points. And so if aspirational customers are already cutting down on cosmetics and other small priced goods, that says a lot. They've gone on to say that the middle classes are aggressively being priced out. And an analyst from Bernstein estimates that the top 5% of luxury clients now account for more than 40% of sales. So just think about that. 40% of sales are coming from the top 5% most wealthy people. Now this, I'm sorry to say it, but to me, this strategy makes a mockery of the wealthy. I just think that, because going back to that point of how much it actually costs them to produce these items, it's a fraction of the price. So actually, are they just making a mockery here? Are they cutting out the people that they don't want wearing their logo? And are they targeting those that they consider to be more elite? But in doing so, they're slightly making a mockery. That's just a thought to put out there. Let me know what you think about that thought. Agree, disagree? I would love to get your thoughts on that. So do you think this strategy of weeding out those that they see as below the brand, potentially, do you think that that is a long-term strategy, or do you think it's going to end up hurting the brands? There will always be the super wealthy, and there will actually always be people who will go and buy this stuff on credit cards because they want it that much. The brands are not going to crash. You know, the luxury market is always like a little bubble in itself, but if you go and you do some digging around, you look at the economy side of things, the economic side of things for these luxury brands, things have slowed down a little bit for them in a way that when I was doing my research, I didn't expect to see. I expected to see research being like, no, luxury's booming. And don't get me wrong, as I say, it's still not doing badly, but it's not seeing the growth that it once was. So let me know what you think. Do you think the strategy is going to work? Do you think the strategy makes these products feel more exclusive, or does it not? Let me know what you think. Now, what I thought I would do is, seeing as we're talking about price rises and things like that, one thing that's really close to my heart is buying pre-loved, because you can get a lot for your money, you can get great quality, you can make a really good saving, and you can get that item that you really love and that you really want for a fraction of the cost. And I'm going to show you 4 items which are my Chanel vintage collection. And the first is my gorgeous mini square. This is from 1988. This is all 18 karat gold gilded. You don't get that these days. You don't get that. And I absolutely love this little bag. Because it's been used, because the leather has been beaten up and what have you, I use this bag and I don't worry about damaging it. And I still feel like it's got that chicness to it. This cost me £1,800 back in, I think it was either 2020 or 2021. So as Chanel goes, not a lot of money. I hustled this for such a good deal, and I think I got it for a good deal because the picture of it, when I bought it, the photo was terrible. It's only because I knew what the bag looked like in real life that I ignored the photo, and the person let me go and see it as well because they were like quite close to where I am, and they said, yeah, you can come over and view it. So I viewed it. It's got the serial label, like the serial tag, serial number intact. Doesn't come with a card, but I wouldn't expect it to, being this age. But yeah, that's my first. Then my second is a medium classic flap. So there's a difference in size there, just to give you a difference. And do you know what I really like about the old vintage pieces is that the quilting is flat, that it's not puffy. I do think with vintage, it depends on your personal taste. Some people like vintage, other people really don't like it. Some people really don't like that used look. Some people don't like the flat quilting, but I like giving life to something that's had a life before. And I like the thought of thinking about the person who bought this from you, because this bag back in the 80s, this is an 88 bag as well, this bag will have cost a fortune. And when I think about the kind of person who must have gone into Chanel and bought this from you, it really makes me think about what their life must have been like and what they did with this bag, where they took it, you know, what they put in it. And I just think it's a beautiful bag. This I got from Luxury Promise. This one I found online. And then the other one that I got, which I found on Vestiaire Collective, is this. Let me try and get some light on it there so you can see. So it's got the double C logo there. These have all got 24 karat gold gilding or plating on them as well. So the chain around there, this is all 24 karat gold. And the chain on this is long. So with all of these bags, you can wear them crossbody. Will I take this chain out just to show you? I always use these things in my bag, these like charcoal pouches, just to keep the shape. But if I show you this bag also has the serial number still intact, and it has a long chain on it. So you can wear this crossbody. I really like this bag as well. And then my most favorite bag, and there is like a story behind this. This is my most favorite. This, I can't remember the name of it. I don't know whether this is the Mademoiselle or whether the Mademoiselle is the actual rectangular version, but this is a large square with the large oversized double C's. Again, 24 karat gold plated. You don't get that these days. This bag, I was on, I don't know where, you know Luxury Promise, where they sell the pre-loved bags. They do these really fun lives where you can shop live, and they show you the product and they show you close-ups, and if you want you can buy it through the live view. You can do it on their website, and they invited me on to do a show, and I went with David, and it was like one evening, and he was in the back watching, and I was like on camera showing, and this bag was in the back. And when I walked in the shop, I said to David, oh my gosh, I love that bag. And I'd always wanted this in the square. I had always wanted this, but they're very hard to come by. And it pained me, but I took the bag off the shelf because someone was like, can we look at the bag? So I took the bag off the shelf and I showed it on camera, and it sold like that, like in no time at all. And I was like, oh, that's really annoying. And then one of the girls who was behind the camera filming, she was like, David's just bought that for you. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like the thoughtfulness of that. And I was so excited all through the rest of the show. I wanted to get off the camera so I could get up close and personal to this bag and check it out and put my things in it. And I love this. And I actually wore this into Chanel at the end of last year, and I had a salesperson come up to me and they were like, that bag is incredible. Like, they were all over this bag. I just love how it looks. And this is, if I do a quick size comparison, this is the size comparison to the medium. So there. I'm actually going to swap my stuff over to this bag, I think. I haven't worn this in a while. So they, and this has also got like a long crossbody chain on it as well. So they are my vintage bags. That's just also some kind of thoughts and some kind of ramble to do with price rises. Are they backfiring? Are they not? I would love to get your thoughts on this whole topic. So please let me know what you think below. I love it when you share your thoughts with me and I get to read what your thoughts are and you're talking to each other, and it's so nice to see. So please share your thoughts below. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.